Hello, Ragnarok Ready family. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this channel, my name is Joe. I go over the topic of emergency preparedness and whatnot. And in today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about my reactions and thoughts to the news that's coming out about bird flu that is starting to rear its ugly head once again. Now, I remember last year, avian flu, bird flu, was going around the news cycles and whatnot, and it was really starting to affect our wallets, our pocketbooks. And I remember at the time being aware of bird flu going around, but I didn't realize the extent of its scope and scale. For example, every 2 weeks, so every pay period, I would go to my local grocery store and pick up a couple number 10 cans of these um, dried whole powdered eggs. They come with 72 servings, so that's 72 eggs in this whole can. And I was extremely caught off guard by the fact that these used to cost me between $38 to $40 a can. And then one day I go in to pick up a couple more cans, and I was shocked to see that they had gone from about that price that I just mentioned to over $100 a can. I was just completely shocked. And this was very seriously within a week period that this price change happened. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And so at the time, again, being aware that bird flu was going around, and there was also news reports going around about a bunch of fires, mysterious fires that were going around at some food processing plants. If I'm not mistaken, at the time there was even a Tyson Farms facility that had gone up in flames, and also due to the fact that the bird flu was going around at the time, a bunch of flocks of chickens and whatnot had to be culled because there was really no alternative to, you know, mass treating all of these animals for the bird flu. So the easiest method was for them to just kill them all. And it's really sad. But anyways, that being said, fast forward to now, we're once again facing the bird flu, and I'm not necessarily worried about this in the long term as I am about the near long term. And to clarify what I mean by that, if history repeats itself and based off a pattern of what we saw last year, we could potentially see this start to skyrocket prices in the short term, and it might affect us with, towards the middle of this year. I really don't know. That's just going off of what happened last year. I remember going to the grocery store again, seeing these number 10 cans go from about $38 a can to over $100 a can, and it maintained that price for pretty much the remainder of the year. And now, like, I want to say about 3 months ago to now, the prices have started to go back down to $50 range. So I mean, that's still a pretty long time for the price of eggs to be that elevated. And you go and you get a dozen eggs, and at the time of the avian flu of last year, a dozen eggs could have cost anywhere between $6 to $10, depending on the quality of the eggs that you wanted to buy. Now, the problem also with this time going around, there's also early news reports of the bird flu jumping from just birds to also affecting cattle. Now, this could be potentially concerning as well, because if they have to start putting down cattle herds, then we could see the price of beef, steak, liver, milk, all that stuff start to skyrocket as well, coupled with chicken, uh, turkey, all that stuff starting to skyrocket as well, which will just really put a huge dent in our protein market. And as those prices start to skyrocket, I remember last year at the local grocery stores, chicken became so scarce that you were limited to how many packages per person per visit. It got to be that bad. And I think that they might have even done that with eggs at the time as well. And if we start to see that with beef, then we could also start to see that go to other meat products like pork, not because bird flu jumps to pigs, But because there will be such a shortage in beef and chicken, that people then will start to resort to buying more pork because it's more accessible, it'll be less expensive, which will then create more of a demand on that, and we'll start to see a shortage on pork as well and a price increase on that. And so we could just see a huge price increase in protein come the middle of this year once bird flu really starts to take effect here in the United States. I mean, this, if I'm not mistaken, in the migratory patterns of birds, with it being the end of winter, birds will start to come in more and bird flu will start to rise here in the United States. And that will just cause prices to potentially skyrocket within very short order. Again, I'm not necessarily worried about this in the very long term. Towards the end of the year, Thanksgiving time, it might start to calm down, but who knows? Knock on wood, it could get to be really bad. That being said, I myself, with owning a freeze dryer, I'm going to take the steps now to start freeze drying some extra chicken, some extra turkey, protein like that. With the prices of these number 10 cans on powdered eggs being relatively inexpensive right now, I think they go anywhere between $65 to $69 a can, depending on where you buy from. That's really not that bad. If we start to see price increases go up a lot more than that, then we could have a lot of problems. Fresh eggs have a relatively long refrigeration life, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I'm not going to give people financial advice, but I do suggest maybe we start to monitor the news cycle a little bit. And if we start to see more reports coming out of this spreading and getting worse, to potentially start to stock up on protein. If you've got freezers with extra space, maybe consider buying some extra beef, some extra chicken, and just to start to stock that up, get it set aside. Again, these number 10 cans are excellent investments. They've got a 10-year shelf life, up to a 10-year shelf life. And then there's also other alternatives for food storage proteins with your freeze-dried Mountain House, Nutrient Survival, I think, is another brand. I don't remember the exact brand off the top of my head. But anyways, that being said, that's basically all I wanted to go over in this video. I don't want to be alarmist. I'm not, again, too terribly freaked out about it. I think in the long term, it'll probably just calm down and we'll probably be all right by the time that October and November rolls around, but I have absolutely no idea. A lot of people thought that about the previous pandemic, and look at how that turned out. So, again, I recommend that people, all of us, just keep our ears close to the ground, pay attention to news cycles, don't obsess about it, monitor the prices of these things, and if you start to see them creep up a little bit, maybe take into consideration stocking up a little bit on your pantries, your freezers, whatnot. Anyways, that being said, thank you so much for joining in. This is Ragnarok Ready Family, again, where it's all about emergency preparedness. If you enjoy this sort of content, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much, everyone.